Okay, I can start. Recall our brief last consideration. If we deal with multi-dimensional and multi-input system, in quasi-linear format we have this representation. This maybe depends on velocity of c, but we assume it is bounded. Rank of control k less than n. So we can apply a special transformation of matrix B represented in this form and obtain a regular form for our dynamic. This is regular form. And we can separate components in two parts. One is controllable and another not. So we can control this controllable part, moving it to sliding mode to our surface. Our surface is this. We take it linear. So inside the surface already no control, but exists relation between controllable and non-controllable part of variables. So substitution this expression Z2 in first dynamic, we obtain in applying this control, we obtain the following property for first component. Second component will in finite time converge to 0 because of this. And another one, so we obtain surface in finite time, and then excluding z2 from first equation, we obtain this. If we select S1 the corresponding way, such that this matrix was stable, so we goes to we arrive to some zone If no noise, we obtain 0. So, and we call this approachment like practical stabilization, because it exists noise and uncertainty. Okay, and now new topic of this very important, which has a name equivalent control. So equivalent control method. So again, consider here non-linear system control. Size of control R in general less than n, maybe equal, but less than n. And we consider some vector manifold consisting of vector manifold. If vector equals 0, each component equals 0. So we consider some subspaces, general subspaces. So if we arrive in vector subspace in finite time, then we need, in scalar case, this is origin. In vector case, it's maybe some subspace. After our aim is maintain our dynamics on subspace or maintain instability point. So first aim is obtain S equals 0, but maintain there. It means that S point after reaching time, S point should be also 0, because I wish to keep S 0. Now, how calculate derivative S point? S point is the S by the X, this is G, for simplicity defined like this, and X point. Instead X point, substitute here. And this should be 0. So S point should be 0, it means this expression should be 0. Okay, so if we will use, so from this condition, this equation, and from this condition we may obtain U control, which can maintain our dynamics on this sliding surface. So if we denote this control which fulfills this equality equals 0 U equivalent, it's according to Wilkins's definition, U equivalent. Now I'll explain why equivalent. So we will maintain our system on sliding surface. So if we substitute here U equivalent, we obtain here X point. So we will always, after reaching time, we will always maintain our dynamics on this surface. So this procedure has a name, equivalent control method, which keep in mind two relations, S equals 0 and as well as point equals 0. So control which maintains this, fulfills these two conditions, has name, equivalent control. But now let's look at this control. What happened in this case? Okay, this is some comment, that's not so important. Let's consider our situation with affine control, this one. So S point, as we defined, is like this. Substitute here F, we obtain this equation. Now assume that this product is non-singular. It means we can invert. If it is, we can find a equation for this equivalent control which maintain our dynamic on surface. Which one? From this equation. So control is this I put right hand side with minus, and now if this invertible, this available matrix for me, because E I know, G is ds dx, S I also know, so this I know. But look what this control will maintain our dynamic on sliding surface S equals 0. And we substitute this inside of our equation instead of U. Here I substitute this and we obtain this expression. So now very interesting comment. Look, this equivalent control depends on function F, which may include noise, which may include uncertainty. So we don't know this function F. So that happens that equivalent control never can be realized because this is some artificial construction. We cannot realize this control, never, because we don't know this function. No, it's like I show you one-dimensional illustration case only on this. No, one-dimensional case. This is, and consider stability. S of x equal x equals 0. So S point of x is the x, but in our case this is 1, and x point. So this is x point, and x point equals 0. And control which contains this dynamics, we call it U equivalent. U equal U equivalent. Let's try and find expression for this U equivalent. This right hand side equals 0, so we obtain AX plus B U plus zeta equals 0. If B is known, so U equivalent from here is minus 1 over B, here AX plus C. Now, suppose A we know, X we know, but C we don't know. So equivalent control should depend on noise, but we don't know, we have no noise. And in general, this dependence looks like that. So in vector case, we have this, instead of that expression, we have exactly this expression. So equivalent control not realizable. So how we should maintain our dynamics on sliding surface? The first question, and good question. This is exactly what I explain now, but only for nonlinear part. If nonlinear part bounded, noise is bounded, the surface stability, we study stability, surface is x equals 0, this is 1, and we obtain exactly U equivalent equal to this. It is not realizable. So now we should show that exists some realization, some approximation of this equivalent control. It is not realizable, but we can obtain very, very good approximation of this control and apply. So again, consider our system in a fine time, in a fine form. Introduce Lyapunov function S as multi surface. It's vector, so it's normal vector. Calculating derivative, we have this expression. S point we know how to calculate is the S by the X by F. By right hand side, open brackets, we obtain this expression on right hand side. First term is this one. It contains unknown part. And another is here, this term. So select U and define it like sliding control. Select it in such a way that we can compensate this term. We select it like this. Again, vector part of S, signal, this vector signal. Each component contains its component, corresponding components of vector surface. This matrix invertible, and so here some gain, positive gain. So again, open brackets. We can here we can see that this is S, and U contains signal, vector signal. This matrix will delete it because it contains -1. You remember it is here -1. So finally, we will have here K summation of moduli S. But this inequality, because here minus, we can estimate it, this term from below, but with minus it will be more. So if we consider here, so here normal phase, here also is normal phase, and we obtain that expression. This term we only estimated by model. So if Kt, after we select more than this value, if you know that this is bounded, so I can always estimate it like, because minus and minus will be plus, this I can estimate like F plus. So I can select, if I know that this dynamics is bounded, so I select it by K0 a little bit more than K0, and I obtain again infinite time convergence to sliding surface. This we have with this algorithm, with this controller which we use to obtain sliding surface, and we give a name U sliding. Then final time convergence is this one. So let's now introduce so-called low-pass filter. Low-pass filter is first order system of this expression. In the input of this block, we have control which we just defined, and in output we have U the average. This block, low-pass filter, in some sense, it's averaging of this signal. No, we can see how we realize it. Now you see that from here, U point T averaged is minus, is 1 over mu here, U sliding, which formula we have it, and minus U T average. So we have integrator. Then here is U T average. After integration, we obtain this is derivative. UT average. Then here we have some difference between what? Between sliding, which this external input, this is our sliding control. And here is minus. So here I put it is minus. This is plus. So we have some amplifier, or depends, because mu after we will select small, this gain will be amplifier, so we put it like 1 over mu, and this is exactly is average control. So to realize it, it's very simple. But let's look at definition. When mu equals 0, this term is 0, and our average control after smoothing absolutely equals sliding. But if not, we have more smooth signal. We have more smooth signal. So it's not difficult to obtain the following estimate. Now, a little bit before estimation, a little bit on properties of this is low pass filter. Now, if our dynamic is bounded, we have this. If we assume this, then low pass filter, which is described as first order differential equation, satisfies the following, can be represented in the following way. Average is sliding plus some correction term. Root velocity is bounded, and this correction is also bounded. But amplitude characteristic of this filter, it's very easy to obtain. It looks like that. So that's why this is a low pass filter. This is function of this amplitude, and y is coordinate is amplitude, and this is omega. So we can see that frequency response of this filter has very briefly tend to 0. So it means that only frequency of which is sufficiently low can pass, and strong oscillation not pass because they have another frequency. So frequency, that's why it has a name. It's filter, because it's filtered very brief dynamics. So if we only resolve this as linear differential equation, what we obtain? Now we obtain this representation of our average as a function u sliding. Here exponent we introduce inside of differential. So it's possible to consider the behavior of this signal during reaching phase on sliding surface. No, it's possible simple integration of this formula by part. Here we have by part integration. So we obtain this expression. If derivative is bounded, we exactly obtain this expression. So average, it is practically u sliding plus some correction, small correction, which model proportional to mu. This model proportional to mu. If mu smaller, we have more exact resemblance of them. So we can conclude that difference between average and sliding on controller less or equal than some constant. It depends on reaching time. It's not important, some constant, but proportional to mu. Look, it can be seen from here, from formula from here. If mu equals 0, average, it is equal to u sliding. Okay? But in general, no. But what we now can see, this formula is true everywhere. If I will use, instead of my control, instead of signal, instead of this sliding, I will always, from the beginning, I will use u average. So we practically will have this difference. Instead of u sliding, I will apply u average. Instead of apply this to my plant, I will apply this to my plant. I only put some filter. So what we will have? Control a little bit different, but the same order of difference has the trajectory of the system. Trajectory also will, if mu is sufficiently small, trajectory also will be the same. But what we can see, so if I wish to obtain some estimate, what is the difference between direct application of this and average signal application? What's the difference between our two trajectories? I can say that if I wish to obtain given accuracy, delta, if I wish to make this delta less than delta, obligatory exists small enough mu which can do it, which can realize it. So, because our surface is vector surface and each component is smooth enough, differentiable, so it is continuous on x. It means that sliding surface, if we consider our trajectory in sliding surface, it also will have, or large, it means the same order of mu. It will the same order of mu, it will have this one. So if instead of direct sliding surface, we will apply this controller, we cannot guarantee exactly our belongingness to sliding surface. We will be in some zone, the zone proportional to mu, so we will have some dynamics around this zone. But what difference between equivalent control, which is not realizable, and this control? Look, we practically, because this is realizable, and this realizable. But this control, which we may apply in the reaching phase. But we, from the beginning, if we apply this, practically no difference. But after, to maintain our dynamic on sliding surface, we cannot apply this control. We should apply control, equivalent control, which is not realizable. But instead, we will apply always, during all control, we will apply this step. And how much we lost? Instead of exact maintaining our dynamics on sliding surface, we will have some zone proportional to mu. If this is sliding surface, so we will have this zone, and our dynamic will be inside of this surface. But anyway, it will tend to origin. So this is idea of equivalent control method. So what is the recommendation? Not use during all control process, not use this controller. not use this controller with signal, because you very quickly will arrive to surface, but after around surface, computer cannot realize signal, and you will have a great chattering. You will go like this. So it's not recommended. What recommended? Instead of this, to put some low pass filter, and from the beginning apply this control with small enough mirror. So with small enough mirror, and yeah. So this is a proof that our dynamics of average after reaching time will proportional or small. So this is a rule or recommendation how to use sliding mode controller. First we should formulate what we wish. Our desire now, our aim is minimize our sliding surface. Why not? To arrive here, first construct this controller. Yeah, this one, which contains signal. So it's very close to surface. It's very it contains chattering. And then apply low pass filter like this. And finally, which controller apply? Take from the beginning. Take U equal this average value. This is result. So later I show you graphic how it works. If you will simulate in computer some problem, and if you will obtain picture of controller sliding controller, it practically will have this picture. This is U sliding, which contains signal, and this is stay. In final time, you goes to some. This is reaching time. They reaching this point, but after it is chattering, you will have completely different. Practically black picture. But if you consider this expression, okay, if you will consider this dynamics, you averaged. This practically will be the same. It will repeat maybe a small difference. It will be the same, but after this you will have not so drastic. You will have this function. It will not be strong accelerated. So now we are ready to discuss sliding mode observers. Here exist two possibilities to construct sliding mode observers. First one is full order observer of Lindberger plus sliding mode term structure with additional signal term. It is this one. Now we consider how to analyze it. This observer. So problem is as follows. We have dynamic system. This is a quasi-linear format. All nonlinear functions unknown is here. As we know, the square of this uncertain term is bounded by these values. U is less controller. less size controller, Y has size M, and observer which we suggest, it is this one. Later I show that for special observers for mechanical systems, it's possible to apply another type of observer which has which is based on equivalent control method. But now we study a general format. So this is, look, without signum term, this is absolutely Lindberger structure. Because sigma is difference between y day minus c. This is Lindberger structure which we already studied. But here we added signum term. Why it helped? No, when our Lindberger observer have a good enough estimation of output. For example, we observe only first component. The first component will participate here. Difference will be very, very close to zero. This term practically will not have effect on observation because it's small. But signal still help to correct. So this is idea to use mixed Lindberger sliding mode plus additional signum term. It's like this is a vector because y is vector. Sigma is difference, residual of output. Introduce error of state estimation. This is error of state estimation. The estimated value minus real value. Here, not realizable because we have no x. We have only y. X we not have, but y we have. So unique indicator of our work that our its output, measurable output, is estimated output close to real output, very close. It means that our process good enough. But our aim not estimate output, our aim estimate state, which we cannot measure. So let's see what happened in this case. Okay, so we have this expression. Now, we will consider class of controllable system, and we will consider class of controller which maintain trajectory of the system bounded. It means bounded BIBO system, bounded input, bounded output systems. So not all controllers will be considered. We will admissible class of controllers which maintain trajectory bounded, because not exist filters which can estimate unstable states. If exponentially quickly unstable, filter cannot estimate the system. So we should, from the beginning, assume that our system is bounded. No important which bound. It may be very large, but it's bounded. So this first assumption that all trajectory are bounded. And uncertainty, our uncertainty satisfies this quasi-Lipschitz property, quasi-Lipschitz property. But if x is bounded, so it means that this part also is bounded, the 0 plus the 1x plus constant. We denote it like some t constant. So uncertainty also will be bounded. So two assumptions. Okay, now theorem, and after I give the proof. Existed two methods of presentation, some result. Physical, like physics, and like mathematicians. Physics prefer first explain proof, and after, So we obtain the following result and formulated result. Mathematicians, they have another. They first formulated what they wish from the beginning, and after to give a proof. So here I will work like mathematician. Before I worked like physics. So if we select if we select this gain matrix a special way, like this, special way like that, and if this LMI is negative, definite. Why this is LMI? Look, P here linear, P linear, but I have three parameters also L. I should select L. But it's interesting that in filtration problem, product P and L from the same sides. You remember in control we have a small problem. We have it's not small, it's a great problem. In control problem we have this term. And P between P and K always appears matrix P. And to represent the system like, so in general this is BMI, B linear. But to represent it in linear form, we multiply in special transformation like this, you remember? Both sides. And finally we obtain, after multiplication, we obtain term here, and this is we denote like new variable y, and we obtain LMI. But in the case of observation, not necessarily do it much easy, because look, matrix P and A, they are from the same side. These two, after transposition, L transpose appears here. So it's practical LMI, not necessary. Nothing applied. So so hence, if in observer gain matrix in signum term, we select this way. If the following inequality fulfilled, if our L for L exists epsilon and P positive such as inequality fulfilled, then we can state the following: then error of estimation will be this term automatically asymptotically to zero. Error of estimation, it's not estimation of output, it's state estimation. Error of state estimation will be less than this epsilon, multiply the size of noise, and multiply the characteristic of this matrix P, less than this one. And moreover, we can declare that integral of norm of residual of observation converge. What does it mean? It means if integral converge, this value tend to zero. Maybe some brings permitted. So residual of term which we use inside of signum, it is sigma tau. So this term tends to zero, and we have this value of estimation. So this is my comment about this. So let's now obtain the proof of this statement, like mathematicians. So introduce again quadratic term with some positive calculating derivative to a point. Substitute a point inside, we have this expression. Open brackets, we will have this one. This matrix not symmetric, but I have two. I can after represent it in symmetrized form. Here I have yet a PLS signal like this, and this term depends on uncertainty. Now, if we select LS gain matrix or before the signum term a special way, like we mentioned, so look, LS P will delete it because it depends on this depends on that one. So P will be deleted. I will have mu ZT, but this is transpose of product is product of transpose but change order. So this representation can be done like this. But what is this? This is exactly sigma. This is difference. This is our residual, but with minus, here minus. So we have this expression. So it follows that this term is proportional to sigma. Another one, this term, which one? So if I consider now this expression, it will be matrix P will be concealed. Instead of this product, instead of this vector, I will have minus mu sigma, Day sigma. But you know that this is scalar product. This is summa of model of each component, and this model more or equal than norm. Because of minus, I will estimate from above. It is absolutely the same tricks. So what we have, using this estimation and using this representation, this one I can estimate like that. So we have the following expression: V point less than this right-hand side. Negative term is good. It is this one. It's norm of sigma. Quadratic term on here, it is this one. So I have two entrances because sigma, as you remember, sigma is minus CE. Sigma is minus CE. So if I substitute here CE, I will have terms. No, these terms I keep. I nothing doing. This term I keep. I only will represent these two terms like quadratic form. Yes, we can. Quadratic term is this one, because of two this symmetrized form. This is minus p between e and zeta, p minus p. So we have this quadratic term, and this is very good term is negative. It helps us. So again, we subtract minus here 0, we added minus epsilon like before. Then we added here subtract minus alpha and added here plus alpha. And finally, we obtain this matrix W. Now I give you a formula for W. Formula in theorem we have here, and here's this term. So if this matrix, let's return back. This is matrix with alpha is with it. If it is less than equal, less than 0, so we have this estimation. This negative, and for my first investigation, I cannot delete. I will have it will be less without this term. So we have this expression like this. Integrating, we obtain convergence to finite time, but this expression also valid. So I return back again mu. Past and right hand side I will have here, and integrating this, I obtain that integral converge. So, select. So we have this inequality from this consideration, from upper consideration. Okay, we can obtain this inequality. Integrating this inequality, we obtain Vt minus V0. So we can rewrite it like this. V is positive definite. So without this term, we will have only more. We will have constant, but this is constant, less than infinity. So integral converge. And from the same consideration, we can estimate that upper bound for the wave. So, in fact, we prove, let's return back to formulation. This filter, which contains linear part, like Lindberger and signal part, if second constant, which multiplies signal, selected special way, and if this first part, Lindberger part, satisfies this linear equation. So again, I repeat that in case of observer, it's much easier because P and L, they are together, not like in control. So if this is negative, so we can guarantee that our error of state estimation proportional to epsilon and also proportional to d. D is at a joint constant for uncertain part, noises and so on. So what we have now, for special class of mechanical system, exists another and more effective method. This method based on equivalent control method, which we discuss now. What we can do? We have second order differential equation, vector. Right hand side depends on velocity, maybe friction, maybe something, but we don't know exactly what is this. And maybe some noises. Control not necessarily considered because control is fixed now. Control. If it is feedback, it's a function of x. If it is fx, x point. If it's only program, a function of t. So in general, it can be incorporated in this term. This known term. So this term we know, and all unknown uncertainty we aggregate in this term. This is unknown. No, we later represented in Cauchy form in standard x1 point x2 and x2, so second derivative of x1. It is exactly this. It is exactly this term. So we separate one term known, one unknown, and this is half-half. The same size of this x1 is the same like size of x2. So this is a standard representation. I call it shortly that it's mechanical model, not obligatory mechanical, but it's shortly I call it like this. Okay, suppose that we can measure only position. Velocity we cannot measure. In the case of pendulum, for example, it may be angles, but angle velocity we cannot measure. So our measurable, our measurable output is x1. Y is x1. So if you represent in standard form like y equal cx, so in our case it will be like this. So our y is this one. This is exactly x1. So matrix C is 1, 0. Now as for no, here we assume that also our dynamic is bounded. For example, in the case of inverted pendulum, if our coordinates is angles, it is clear that angle cannot be more than 2p. No? The same velocity is bounded by its possible estimate. So all dynamics is bounded like here. x2, but here we need only that x2, that velocity are bounded. And in general, we also can assume that f satisfy increase not more quicker than norm f increase not quicker than x is the same. This part also increase not quicker than x. Both maybe unknown, not necessary. If it's known, okay, we can use it. If not, no. So now construction of observer. Let's introduce artificial variable, auxiliary variable x hot. We can treat that variable like estimation of state x1. But in fact, we don't need x1 because we have it, we measure it. But let's introduce some auxiliary variable which help us to construct observer for x2. x1 not need. So we introduce some artificial auxiliary. In fact, we can treat it, consider like estimation x1. And where it's our structure of our observer for this auxiliary variable. How select it? Let's select it in this way. Where is minus rho signum? Signum of Y1. Y1, it is this one. X1 minus error of estimation, our auxiliary variable with real variable x1. But Y1 is known because x1 hat we design, it's our designing, and x1 we measure, it's y. Because Y is n-dimensional, so vector signum here applied to each component of this error of status of measurable state estimation. So introduce it like this. What we have? Now consider again error of this artificial estimation. Where is a function of quadratic error? We derive, substitute here. There's a dynamics for Y1. It looks like this because x point, no, you remember x point. X point is x2. I should differentiate when I differentiate x1, it appears x2. And when I differentiate it appears x2. And when I differentiated x bar, it's my way. I selected like this. I substituted in this way. So open brackets again, row outside. Here I have the same construction, and here I have that product. This product I can estimate it normal scalar product less than norm of first term and second term. Second term is bounded. We have here constant and this way. Here we estimated also from below like norm of E square, and this is V. This is exactly norm Y. This one. Take it outside, and if I select rho more than this zone of possible velocities, this term will be positive, and I have finite time convergence, and in finite time equals this expression, I obtain Y1 equals 0. But that's what it means. I measure x1, I introduce some artificial variable, and this artificial variable very quickly and exactly converge to real values. But look now, the main idea. To maintain E1 in position, to maintain E1 in 0 after reaching time, we need to make E point equal 0. Because we already reached E equals 0, but we wish maintain E equals 0. I calculate derivative, I will have B minus x2. So it means that x2 after reaching time is V. Is this V? How we call our artificial controller to maintain E always 0? Like V equivalent, huh? It's only term. But we know that V equivalent, V is this one. So if we put V, like consider V like input of low pass filter, mu here should be less than 0.1, more or less, because of it depends on frequency characteristic. So usually it consider like 0.01, sufficiently small. So if we consider this and put V through low pass filter, we obtain exactly by definition. This is, we know that this is practically V equivalent, which maintain our system in sliding surface very close to V average. That's why we can define the estimation of x2 like V average, and that's all. Excellent solution and nice working. You can test it immediately. So, what we do, here I show you some results of simulation. So what we do, we introduce artificial variable, select correction term in this way. E1 is measurable because x1 we generated and x1 is y, is measurable. But instead of this V, after this V we put inside of low pass filter, we obtained V average. But V average equal, as we know, is V equivalent. So our estimation, exactly because of this relation, x2 is V equivalent, but V equivalent we have now. But average, yes. So x2 as estimation of x2, we can consider V equivalent. And that's all. Now let's see some example. The quasi-linear format, this one, I consider linear system. First coordinate is measurable only, two-dimensional case, formal like that. And this is first component is pulse, is like that. No? And this is sawtooth, this one. So K selected like here for stability. This K guarantees stability of this linear system. I selected like this. But and we return back to our observer. So after we follow our considerations. This first we consider a general full order Leuenberger plus signum term. So here Leuenberger plus signum term. Now we use previous formulas. I never repeat. We take found P equals this, LS equals this, and L equals this one. Epsilon, alpha, mu, these values. Look what we have. This is a scheme of in Simulink. This is second component. This is first component perturbations. And our observer, this is the first component. Practically, Look, that's interesting. That state estimation for first component, because it's dynamic, it's derivative. So I can take initial condition exactly equal x1 in point 0, like initial condition first component, because I measure. So from the beginning, in fact, here two trajectories, but they absolutely repeat. No error. Absolutely no error. But we're not interested in this. It's only help us to estimate second one. So this is first state, x1, and velocity is here. Now you can see a little bit here difference. Like here break, no? It's a break. I cannot explain, and here a little bit difference. I cannot explain this, but for x state 2, we have no initial condition. So this estimation using full order observer, linear pattern Berger and corrector with signal. This one. Then example with mechanical system. Here also I consider practically the same system. F is linear, F is Ix plus du is this one. With the same controller. No, here F x1 plus x2, sorry. It's not important, but here x1 plus x2. I use this. Rho, mu is taken 0.1, and rho, its parameter, is taken like 2. What we have? This is illustration of equivalent control method. This is our MATLAB. And here, look again, first component with artificial which we have, practically no difference. Absolutely ideal estimation. And this, you can see estimation very, sorry. Very complex movement here, but we have two curves. Huh? It's practically ideal also, ideal estimation. So we use the average like second component estimation. This is main idea of equivalent control method for observer. So in principle, I can start another topic, but I would like maybe discuss something here for you. What we talk about today, including morning session and now. So we introduce class of sliding mode controllers. What does it mean, sliding mode controllers? As controllers which contain discontinuity. When we consider discontinuity, in point on discontinuity, partially in signal, we have differential inclusion. It's not ODE, it's not ordered differential equation. It's inclusion. In inclusion, we define a solution. How understand solution of inclusion in Filipov sense? It's standard phrase for this. And we consider how to control system using vector signal. Usually signal is taken over the sliding surface. Sliding variable, which defines sliding surface, should be obligatory measurable because we use it in algorithm. So S, which participates there, or sigma, which participates in observer, should be measurable. Then we studied a equivalent control method, which has two specific features. The first one, equivalent control, which maintain dynamic on desired sliding surface, never realizable. It depends on noise, on unknown characteristics, it's not realizable. But we can approximate it using first order filter, low pass filter, where in input we put the same control which we use in the reaching phase, but we will use it from the beginning. So instead of sliding, instead of signal, we will use smoothed average value, and we will have, I would say, very good behavior of trajectories, very good behavior of controllers. Not, we can avoid this chattering. We will have more smooth. But that's what important, that we arrived in some zone, dependent on this mu, in some zone of sliding surface. But anyway, inside of this move, inside of the zone, we moved to desired point of stability. And we started to, as for observers, we started two observers. One is classical Leuenberger plus signum term. We have a proof, we have a rule how to select two gain matrices. We can guarantee that error of both component converge in some zone proportional to epsilon, index epsilon, which we introduce, and also size of uncertainty there. And second one, it's based on attractive ellipse, on a equivalent control method. So we introduce artificial variable for x1. It is not neat, but we introduce it only to obtain estimation of second component, which we cannot measure. Estimation of second component is correction factor for the first component, which pass through low pass filter, and this output was average value of this correction factor for first component is a good estimation of second component, which we not measure. So this is very simple. Okay, in fact, for today I finish. Okay, maybe some questions, if you wish some questions. Maybe your questions which you have with your student, if you wish. Go ahead. What I suggest, that directly I will here print in my computer and we can discuss. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. As I understand, this is a bioreactor or something like this. No, this is bioreactor. Bio, or what is the model of this? What you have? Ah, you have only problem. Okay, so let me call it like A plus delta R. Okay, will be our file. Maybe it's better plus number like this, and we have to work more quickly. Let me take once. Some of you use a scientific workplace, no? Because it's very good. I would say intermediate. It's latex. Finally, I have latex, but it's very nice to write formulas. Okay. So what is your plant? Let's see. Okay. Let's write plan. Which one? X point. Sorry. Equal to plus delta R. It may be time varying. So yes, it may be time varying. This one. And this, in fact, this is a constant. Okay. Multiplied by xt. So x plus, okay, plus b u. U. Okay, yes. Okay, plus b u. Fine. This is a point. And we have here uncertainty. Okay. So let me put here. And plus some uncertainty. You call it no? It's he is known. Non-linear part. Okay. So f of x, f of x of t. No? And you know this part. F you know. So u y. Y of t is c of x of t, but okay, c maybe any, right? But size of y less. Yeah, it's after you can substitute, no important. So we have this plant, okay, but assumption about sorry, here I put this one, this one, this one. Assumptions. We have several assumptions. So first one is which one? But what is C? C, because
that was there yesterday. We don't have noise.
It's only product. C is product. Okay, so no, we can only assume this one, that norm of delta is bounded. So variation is not known. R is known, but delta R not known, but it is bounded. It is bounded as some, which one? R plus, no? Or, okay, or let's put delta, maybe this delta, less than delta. Okay, we have this. Fine, and second assumption, our control maintain our dynamics stable. It means that our dynamics is bounded like x plus. Okay, this is assumptions. Next one is filter, no?
Yeah.
Filter or state estimator. A state estimator as well. Okay. Next one, what we have, a state estimator. We take it like Lindbergh. So let's take it like Lindbergh. So here we have here we have x x hat with its derivative. R, we know R, so we repeat structure. So, okay. All known part we include here. Phi we know, so we also include. P we know, we also include. But now we correction term L multiplied by y of t minus, I better sweat a bit, minus x hat, x hat. And this is, I put another parameter. So we have this observer. Then next one, error of estimation. Okay, error of estimation, perfect. We define, first we define vector Y with index T. But by definition, it will be, how we define? Okay, it will be x of t minus x hat of t. The corresponding dynamics of this, the corresponding dynamics of this of this vector error will be like this. It will be y point, equal to x point minus x hat point. X point I only substitute here. Okay, okay. I substitute here n minus. I substitute this expression, hat point. Okay. Paste. Now we can see that known part, this one, and this one disappears. So we have what I have. This I have. Then let me open here brackets. I will put here, and I will put here. Okay. Then I have minus ix. I have minus ix. Okay. Then I have this expression. Let's look what we have. Instead of y, I substitute cx. So instead of y, I substitute cx and take cx outside. I will have y x minus x. X hat is y. So I will have, or e in English, e in Espanol, y. Okay. So we have this. And also this with this, I can combine together. I will have here e. So e combining with this, and I will have a plus lc plus lc yeah. This is and what? No, lc.
Minus.
No, y minus.
Yes. That is coming.
No, our definition of E is x minus x hat. So, okay, x dot is this one. And this is, it will be, sure. Sorry, all will be with minus. Exactly. So it will be here with minus. And this term I have like this. So finally, we have this dynamics. Let's put it here point equal this one. Now, storage function. Storage function. Storage function. So introduce here storage function. It will be where of year by definition is how it without yeah, we introduce year transpose where year here where was 0 symmetric, so where more than 0, okay. And as a result, we have the following dynamics now. We have a point, a leader derivative, a point. Here we have t and trajectory of the system. Here we have 2, this expression, point. Sorry. Substitute now this expression which we have. Now only take me and put into this like this. And now let me represent it like quadratic form. I wish to represent it like quadratic form. Okay. No, but here I use this. So let's represent it like quadratic form. It will be equal. We consider extended vector. You follow, students, you follow for my consideration? Yeah? How? Okay. But maybe it is not seen, maybe a little bit here. Okay. Yeah. So here we have, no, I need put arguments everywhere. Here, then arguments there. Here, again. Here, here I have, okay. So let's introduce vector E, and let's introduce another variable which we have as x now. We have x. So represent exactly like equality, like quadratic form. This is special consideration. Then I have matrix. Matrix will be 2 by 2. And this vector again. So first term quadratic by E, it is this one, but I need represented in, I would like represented in symmetric form. So this one, then E, then plus, because he is 2, I represent it like that, transposed, E is symmetric, so no problem, E is symmetric. Now cross products X by E, no cross product, 0. And not yet this one. Oh, no, I know. No, look, we make the following. We make the following. Define this, including delta R, because this unknown term, X, we also don't know, and this don't know. So define it like C. It will be C of T. And here, and here we put, because this is not only X, I don't know delta R. So here we put C. Our extended vector will be C. Here also will be C. Here also will be C. What we have? C, and we open brackets, will be E by C we have. So here will be B. And here also will be B. Quadratic term by C not exists, so we have this term. We have 0. Now, make the same, nothing change. If I add it inside and subscribe inside minus epsilon, I wish to have it negative. So it will be epsilon, sorry, not E, but epsilon. Small epsilon, which we will try to find, small epsilon. And size of this term is exactly, this is exactly n by n. So n by n. Okay. And nothing changed because this is minus. I put here is plus. It will be epsilon, but norma, second term, it will be norm squared. It will be here. All of this identity, absolute identity. We have this. But also, let adding and subtract here minus alpha, v of E. But v of E, it's a quadratic term on P, so I can put here alpha by P. And I can just put equality and repeat last bracket. So this is this I can put inside plus plus alpha over 2 by B by E and by N. And the same term. And the same term here. It's better A plus 1 over 2 keep together. This like one matrix now. And the same here. All of this is the same. Okay. denote this matrix like W. Denote this matrix like W. It will be W. It will be function of what? It will be function P. It will be function L and two constants. This constant is better. Sorry, it's maybe here. No. No, here should be. No, I wish to have line. To put line. Ah, here. Okay, it will be alpha and epsilon. And epsilon. Up to moment, this is absolutely identity. So we have. No, stop. It's the already. No. I not include. No. Still not. No. Oh, it may be this. No. It's the area. Yeah. Now we need to estimate this term. But this term is bounded by what assumption? About A data. Yes. We denote it like this. So norm delta will be norm A and norm X. So instead of this term, this term will be less or equal. It will be less or equal. This one. Okay. It will be less or equal than norm A and norm X. Norm A by definition is delta and norm X is X plus. So this term will be delta. Will be delta by X plus. By X plus, it does not depend on epsilon, no, nothing. So, no, it was correct before which I did. This we can define like W, because we not incorporate nothing inside. So it will be here, again, sorry, I do it again. It will be W of P L vertical slash alpha E epsilon. So we have we will have finally. Huh? Yes? No, alpha E.
Next slide. Yeah, yes.
Yes, sure, we need delete. Okay. No, this is both of them square. Okay, sure. Thank you. Because this is square, yes. We should use square. So here's square. So what we have finally? Finally, we have this expression. Where point less or equal this quadratic form instead of big matrix I put here W. W is defined. This one. Copy. Put here W. Then what I have? I have these terms. I have this one and this one. So copy. is here, let me put it first this term, and plus epsilon multiplied by this. Paste. Now there maybe I put here. If under the accepted assumptions for a given L, there exists a matrix P more than 0 and positive constants alpha epsilon such that matrix W strictly less than 0, then we may guarantee two factors. First one is that this derivative less than this one. This is negative, so it's less than this one. This one implying let's give a solution. So v of t will be less than or equal than v of v in 0, v in 0 plus this expression over alpha. This over alpha. And here, 1. Exponent. Yeah, exponent. Yeah, I know. Alpha 10. Alpha 10 is the same exponent as here. Alpha 10. Now notice that this, if alpha positive, so it tends to 0, implying this, and as a result, upper limit not exist, but upper limit is upper limit. Now we finish. Less or equal, only this down. And this, and because here quadratic form, I can incorporate it inside of matrix of quadratic form, and I obtain this one. Limit Then quadratic form is here. Paste. Only index 10 I need to put here, and I need to put here. And matrix, this matrix, I will introduce this ratio. Sorry, here. I will introduce alpha here, and this down. So this is less than equal 1 because I put here and this. So attractive ellipsoid. So we have this. So epsilon tend to ellipsoid. Yeah. I don't know now if it goes calligraphic. No. I need to recuperate fonts. Okay. Ellipsoid. It will be like this. Yeah. Depending on this by attractive. Yeah. Where, and this is the last formula. The by attractive is equal to this one. So we finish this. Theorem is proven. We now consider like physics. First, not formulate first, we obtain the result and then formulate. Then corollary, which corollary is that optimal parameters. We need optimal parameter L. The optimal state estimator parameter L star is optimal. L star is equal to weak. I can change. Or it's better can be found as. So as a solution of the following matrix constraint optimization problem. Okay. Which problem? That formulated. So trace of this should be maximum. Constant we can take out of the trace, so here will be trace. Let's check it. Is this font exist? Yes. So this is maximum or supremum. What is the difference between maximum and supremum? If you have open set constraint, open set, maximum cannot be reached. So in this case, it's more correctly because we have here inequality. You see, inequality. This open set. So it's better to write here supremum instead of maximum. Supremum with respect to what? Okay, suprema with respect to B more than 0, then with respect to L, L, we don't know, L not, it's not quadratic, so it's L, some L, what else, and two variables now. Two variables, this one, this one. Okay. So this positive and this positive. And this positive. Subject to this constraint, no? Subject to this constraint. So this is constraint optimization problem. Maybe now we can show that this constraint is LMI. 1 second, we finish. So another corollary. Notice that this matrix constraints, matrix inequality can be represented as LMI directly. Here not necessary nothing, need transformation, nothing. So we have can be represented directly. Good. Let's look here. Let's take this. Okay. Paste. Equal. We define P. We define P. We define X large like P, and we define, because here together P by L, and we define Y like P by L. So rewrite this matrix. Open brackets. First we will have this by X, and P by L will be Y. Then again, okay. Both symmetric, yes, both symmetric. Okay. Copy. This is right hand side. Here transposed. And I put it just here. And minus C, and the same will be with minus transpose. Paste. So Y will be here. Here will be transposed. Okay. Instead of P, it's X. Instead of this, it's X. So this is less or equal than 0. That's all. Implying nice such that final result, what is our L star? L star is, from this definition, L star is Y which is solution of this star multiply by x minus 1, no? By x star minus 1. That's all. So, more or less it's clear, no? Now you should make simulation. Okay. So, do you have a USB? A copy? So now it's good for you because I repeat all technique. It's very useful in your eyes directly. Oh, no, it's okay. Yes. Yes. Where to put? To open your new folder, yeah? I can make a new folder. Example, no? Like this. Stop, something. Yes, example should be here. And how we call it? I forget.
A plus delta.
A plus delta. This to and PDF. For students, the comment on Saturday, we will arrange exam. No? It's exam. I prepare for you 5 problems. 5 problems. But I try to suggest very simple problems that you not use computer. That you make it carefully without computer. 5 problems during 2 hours. And how I will estimate each. I don't wish make nothing, but it's requirement of professor. So how I will estimate? How each problem I will estimate from 10 points between 0 and 10. And final result, because it's 5 only, I multiply by 2, and I will have the general range from 0 up to 100. For example, if you will have 82, so your qualification is 8.2. It's clear?